Hi guys, it's Jill here from Lavender and Friends, your source of essential oil education and inspiration. I wanted to do a video today to share with you how you can use the new Live Guide from the Empowered Success from doTERRA to conduct your wellness consults. Now, when someone enrolls, the protocol is that they have a wellness consult with the enroller. That's where you sit down with them and it takes around 45 minutes to an hour, and you make sure that they feel really confident in using their oils, getting the most out of their oils, and also getting the most out of their account. It's a really wonderful opportunity, and it's something you should be doing with every single new enrollee. Now, the new guides will be coming as part of their pack, so when they get their enrollment, they'll actually have this along with the build and the share guides. This is what you can be using as a one-on-one. You can also use it for if you're doing it a sit down with someone before they have their oils, but today we're going to be focusing on it in a wellness consult post-enrollment. Now, I want to go through why we do a wellness consult in the first place, because if you have a good understanding as to why we're actually doing it, then you can understand why it's such an amazing opportunity. Personally, I love wellness consults. I think they're heaps of fun. You've got someone who's new, they've got their oils, they're all excited, and this is the chance to sit down with them and really help them to get started on their oil journey. So there's a couple of different reasons we do our wellness consult. The first one is quite simple. We're building a relationship with them. doTERRA is a network marketing company, which means we're building relationships with people and we're helping them to develop trust in us. We're helping them to see us as experts, and we want to have a relationship and show that we care about them. The second reason we're doing our wellness consult is to get them excited. We know these oils are amazing, and we know these oils are life-changing, and they need a bit of, they probably need a bit of confidence, a bit of encouragement, and that's what this is about. Now, for me personally, I also always make a roller with them, because then they get some hands-on experience and they can see how they can use their oils topically. And it's also a way to introduce them to more products, more than just oils. Some people don't realize that we have shampoo and soaps and all kinds of other good things. Now, the third reason we do our LRP, we do our wellness consult, is to share with them about how amazing the Loyalty Rewards program is. We want them understanding how the Loyalty Rewards program works and why it's such great way to be getting your oils and how to get the most out of their account and how to get the most benefit. One of the fantastic things about doTERRA is the fact that we have such a high retention rate. It's like 85%. And that's because once people start using the products, they see the benefits, they see the value in the program, they join and they continue to order for life. That's also why, as a business, doTERRA provides a residual income. It's because when we're enrolling people, it's not just they buy once and then they disappear off into the sunset. The fact is that they're doing multiple orders over and over. Now, the fourth reason we do our wellness consult is because we want to know what their pathway is going to look like. We want to know if they're going to live and just use the products, if they're going to share the products with others, or maybe they're interested in building. And the other thing is, they might not know right now what they want, but they know that they have those options in the future. We don't want to be assuming anything. We want to have those conversations with them. And then the fifth reason is we want to teach them how to find their own answers. I don't want to be getting messages from every single person I've ever enrolled asking the same questions over and over again. I don't have time. As my team grows, as I get bigger and bigger, I'm not going to have time for that. So what I want to be doing is I want to be empowering them to find their own answers. My training is, I have a master's of teaching. I'm a qualified teacher. And one of the things we always do is we don't give the children the answers. If a child comes up to me and asks me, what's the capital of Australia? I don't just tell them. I go, oh, that's a great question. Let's find out together. Where could we look? What books could we use? Where can we research to find the answer? And it's the same with our wellness consult. We want to be giving them the knowledge and to find their own answers, to be confident in what they're doing. Now, when we're using this guide, we're using it as it's a guide, it's a framework. It's a way to have a conversation with them about how to get started. It's simply an outline of a conversation. It's beautifully presented so that way you stay on track and you don't miss any of the key points, but you don't have to read it out bit for bit. You just use it to your advantage and use it to figure out what works with you. So when they get it, that's the first page. It's beautiful and inviting. And when we do our wellness consult, we'll sit down with them. You can do it in person, you can do it over the phone, you can do it via online, whatever works for you. Now, the first slide we have is our congratulations slide. So this is where we want to congratulate them for taking this step. We want to say, congratulations, welcome, you're part of an amazing community. It's important to remember for some people, this may be really, really difficult for them. This may be something they've never done before in their life. They may be having resistance from their family, their loved ones, their friends may think they've gone crazy into this weird hippie thing. And so it's really important that they feel connected in and part of a community. We want them to realize that they're not alone in this, that they've got support, that they're making an amazing decision. And this is also a really good slide to be reaffirming the fact that, these things are scientifically backed. They've been used for years. And it's also a really good page to start building that rapport with them. So what I like to do particularly is ask them, why did you get the oils? What made you take that step? First of all, this is two benefits. First of all, you're going to get to know a bit more about them. You're going to already start to figure out what they're interested in. And second of all, it gets them in that positive frame of mind because they're telling you why they bought their oils. They're kind of, convincing themselves again and reminding themselves again why they took that step. Now, the next page we have is our wellness lifestyle. Now, I do apologize. This slideshow is a little out of date and it doesn't have the new pyramid in. So in the Correct Live guide, it actually has our beautiful wellness pyramid. And what's really powerful about this is we're giving them a framework of how to be using these oils. So we know with our wellness pyramid, we've got our eating healthy down the bottom, we've got exercising, reduce and manage stress, and it works your way up. So you can actually, what I find really powerful is to actually ask them to rate themselves on those areas from 1 to 10. This is pretty good because first of all, it's going to show you what you really want to focus on. And second of all, it gives you an opportunity to invite them to reconnect with you in a few more months and to compare. It gives you a benchmark to know how much better they're getting. And a reminder as well is it helps you to focus on them. So it's not about how amazing you find the oils for your teething baby. They might not have a teething baby. They might really want to know about how they can use their oils in food. So again, it's about drawing attention to where you want to be focusing your time. We then move into our eating right page. Now, this is where they have the lifelong vitality. It's no surprise that they put it front and center, the very first product that they talk about. The lifelong vitality is a critical anchor product. People go on it, they notice the difference, they see the difference and feel how amazing they feel, and they never get off it because they recognize how good it is for them. If you are not on the lifelong vitality, I really recommend you get on it, and that way you can have your own personal testimony. Otherwise, it's a bit hard to be telling everyone about how amazing it is when you don't have that personal belief yourself. Now, the lifelong vitality, it's a couple of different ways you can explain it, and I suggest you find a way that you can explain it very succinctly and easily. And the way I like to say is it helps the oils to work better. It fertilizes your body, make sure you have the correct nutrients and vitamins inside you so that you can then be using these oils to help heal your body, help to be really strong and powerful. I do like mentioning the fact that it is TGA approved, and I also love mentioning the fact that it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try it, see if you like it, and if you don't, you get your money back. So it's definitely worth giving it a go. You can then talk about how you can use your oils for cooking. Some people may love this and you could spend, a whole hour just talking about cooking with oils. Other people might not be big cooks. So if it's not something that's interest with them, just follow their lead. And if they go, oh yeah, that's nice, then you don't really need to delve in too deeply to that. We can then talk about how we can add our oils to water, and that is such a simple, easy way to be using our oils. And we can also, again, reinforce the fact that our oils are completely safe and that they are, something that you can be taking internally. You can talk about some recipes, how you can use your oils for produce wash, again, just tied into what's going to be relevant to them. We then move into our rest and manage stress page. So this is a really good time to talk about our diffuser and to talk about sleep. Now, for me personally, I'd say 75% of the people I enroll are mums with children under the age of 5. This is a big topic for that group. So this is something I have a lot of personal experience with. And so this is often where I spend most of my time at the moment. So again, we can talk about how we can use the oils for sleeping, how we can make diffuser blends, and we can sort of focus on that. Now, I love this page, and this is where we're going to be talking about the emotional aromatherapy wheel, and that's about the emotional blends doTERRA's made. Now, one thing I found that's a really powerful way to use this page is I'll sort of explain how it works. So, The oils have been blended based on the chemical constituents that we know. So we know that citruses are really uplifting. We know that spices can really get you excited. And so when you combine them together, you get your cheer. So I kind of explain a bit about that, and I go into the science if that's something they're interested in. But what I then do is I want to apply it to them, and I want to teach them how to use this wheel confidently. So what I'll do is I'll say, all right, so I want you to take a look at this wheel, and I'd really love it if you could think of a time in the past week or so that you've had a challenging experience. I want you to think about how you felt, and think about looking at that wheel. What oil do you think could have really, what oil, or even maybe two oils, could have helped you through that time? It's up to them if they want to share the experience or not, and sometimes they'll tell me about it and we'll work through it together. Sometimes they'll just go quiet, look at it, and just tell me which oil. I can then hand them the oil and they can smell it, and often, almost every time, they'll go, yeah, that would have really helped. So again, it's making it applicable and showing them how to apply it to themselves and to their lives. And again, this is another opportunity for us to educate them on how to find their own answers. Because rather than them saying, oh, I felt this, and me saying, well, you should have used this, it's getting them to understand how to do it and to see how easy it is. It's also about making it duplicatable, because they'll see what you're doing and they'll think, well, that wasn't that hard. She didn't even tell me what to do. I figured it out on my own. And again, the key to this business is being duplicatable, so people see what you're doing and they can do it themselves. Next, we move on to our reducing toxic load, which is where we're talking about how we can get rid of some of the chemicals that might be in our house. And this is where I really like to bring up the idea of swapping your shopping. So that means once you start running out of a particular product, you swap it for your doTERRA one. You run out of shampoo, swap to doTERRA shampoo. You run out of your toothpaste, replace with the doTERRA. And this is again where I bring up the fact that we're getting low tox products. They're really beautiful, and we're using our oils as well as the other products too. Now, we then move into our self-care section. So some of the things we can talk about is our aromatic dressing, massage, carrying the emotional touch blends with us, making sprays, having your keychains, having your lip balm, even the physical support like your Pastance, your Ice Blue, and your Correct-X. One thing I will mention is keep this relevant to them. You really want to make sure you're tailoring this specifically to them. So as I said, for me personally, most of the people I enroll are mums with small children. Aromatic dressing, when you have a small breastfeeding baby and you're very sleep deprived, isn't really going to be something that's going to go down very well. I mean, I love the idea of, luxuriously layering myself in oils, but the reality is it's not going to happen. So talking about something like that to them, it might go over their heads, or it might just make them think that's too hard, I can't do it. So you want to be talking about, maybe for a mum, just having a little roller, that your pick-me-up roller that you carry in your handbag, so when you're feeling stressed, you can just rub it in your wrists and take a breath. That's going to be really relevant to them. So you just got to, again, tailor it to them and what their needs are specifically. Now we're moving into basically the highlight of this guide, which is your actual wellness consult. Now, I actually like to get them to fill it out. First of all, when they're putting pen to paper, they're going to remember it more, and it also gives them that sense of ownership. So we start with, up the top, we have our Essential Oil Reference Book app. And this is where we're going to introduce to them the reference book. Modern Essentials and the Modern Essentials and the Essential Life are the two that I like to recommend. And I'll sort of explain to them how it works. Now, personally, I find it a bit, I don't know, I like to maximize my time with them. So I've actually made up a video on how to use the reference books. It takes about 5 minutes, and I actually email it to them prior to the wellness consult, and I ask them to watch it before the wellness consult. That way, when we do our wellness consult, I'm not spending 5 minutes going, so you flip to this page and this symbol means this and this symbol means this. I've cut that out of the workload, and that way they already know how to use that reference guide prior to coming. I find it just as a way to save time. It's up to you how you want to do that. But that's just one of the tips that I've been doing. Now, it's really important that they do understand how to use a reference guide though, because that's going to be critical to them being able to take ownership of their knowledge. And again, to stop them messaging you all the time to ask you questions, because you could be like, just look it up in the book. So you want to be empowering them to feel confident in using that. The next thing we want to do is we want to invite them to list their top 3 wellness priorities for them and their family. Oftentimes they will put things for their family or their loved ones. Really encourage them to come up with at least one thing for themselves. And an easy way to prompt them is, what would you like more of? What would you like less of? Really common ones, you're going to get sleep, you're going to get energy, you're going to get immunity, you're going to get anxiety. Those are probably the top ones I come up with. If they give you a curveball, if they give you something you have literally never heard of in your life, and it has happened to me, that's again a great learning opportunity, because don't be afraid to say, I don't know what we can use for that. Let's grab our book and let's look it up together. Because then you're showing the fact that you don't necessarily know everything. You're on this journey with them. And that can, again, help them to see that to be duplicatable, they don't have to know everything to share the oils with their friends. You want to then talk about their 90-day goals. And again, the reason we tie this in with 90 days is we can then invite them to participate for 3 months in the Loyalty Rewards program. And that's just a good way to tie it in. And then you want to talk about the wellness solutions they have or they need. Now, this is one area where I personally struggle not to go and give them like way too much information. And it's really hard because we want them to know that there's lots of options and we're so excited. We love talking about our oils. But I really want to encourage you, maximum of 3 suggestions. And with those 3 suggestions, ideally, if we can try and keep at least 1, if not 2 of them, oils they already have. And the reason is we want them to appreciate the kit that they've got. We want them to be using the oils they've got. And we don't want them thinking, well, why did I just buy a Home Essentials kit when I need all these other oils? These Home Essentials kit oils aren't useful at all. And then they'll get really frustrated. So you want to be teaching them how to use the oils they've got and just giving maybe 1 or maybe 2 suggestions of extra oils that they can be using. You can be introducing just a few extra products, and you want to be avoiding that overwhelm of sitting there and telling them like every oil possible. I will admit, one of my first wellness consults, I actually pulled out the product guide and went through every single product. And fortunately, the person who did the wellness consult didn't mind, and she's still enrolled today. But most people, I think, would just have shut down by about the 2nd page. So please don't do it like that. Just, give suggestions, give personal experiences. And like I said, if it's something you're not confident with, you're not sure what oils would be good, pull out the reference book and look it up together. So another thing as well that's really important is when they're telling you what that wellness priority is, you really need to draw out how it impacts them, what it looks like in their life, and you want them to connect emotionally to it. So for example, if they say their issue is sleep, you might want to say, how does that show up for you? What does that actually look like for you? What are your evenings like? Do you lie in bed tossing and turning? And get them to tell you. You then want to ask them, how does that affect your family and the ones that you love and care for? Because then they're going to realize it's not just them, it's those around them that are being affected. And then you want to ask, how does that make you feel? And it's really important that we are connecting them emotionally to the problem, because unless they realize how it's impacting them, they're not going to bother to change it. Why would you, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if it's just, it's a bit annoying, then they're not going to put in the effort of, trying these oils and trying new things. They're just going to go, oh, well, it's not that bad. So we want to be really taking the time to listen to them, to draw it out of them, to, really connect with them. And again, to build that relationship so they realize that you genuinely do care about them. You genuinely want them to address this problem, and you want to help support them in that. And another thing as well is it can be a really good way to help you to stay compliant, because you're focusing on the emotion and how it makes them feel rather than prescribing them certain oils. Now, the next section is we create our daily wellness plan. Again, it's not about us just saying, okay, so in the morning you take 2 drops of this and da-da-da-da-da. It's about helping them to see how easy it is to integrate their oils into their daily life and to be proactive with their health. So you want to be giving them suggestions, maybe ticking the ones down the bottom and just having a bit of a chat so they can see how it works. We then want to look at what other wellness choices can support your goals. And this is a really important thing because it helps them to realize these oils are amazing, but they're not going to fix everything. So the example I always give is if you're going to stay up till midnight, watch a scary movie, drink a Red Bull, eat a block of chocolate, crawl into bed and put some lavender on your pillow and wonder why you're not sleeping, you've got to be looking at the whole picture. And again, it's helping them to understand and appreciate that it is a holistic effect that we're trying to work on. We're trying to work on their whole body. And there are other factors they need to be addressing as well, such as having more water, focusing on sleep, doing their exercise, maybe looking at some dietary changes. Then we're going to go to our loyalty rewards program bit. Now, with this, one thing I will say is you need to be able to explain loyalty rewards program and nail it succinctly in around 3 minutes. You need to be able to stand up without getting confused, without being stressed out, and be able to just explain how the loyalty rewards program works. Now, if you find the loyalty rewards program confusing, I can guarantee everyone you speak to will get confused by it. If you think it's a bit expensive, they're going to think it's a bit expensive. If you think the loyalty rewards program is the greatest thing ever and you get all this free stuff and it's such amazing value and you're swapping out your shopping and everything's shipped to your house and it's totally awesome, then guess what? Your new enrollee is going to think the same thing and they're going to be so excited. I get people who actually text me pictures of their order, like when they put it through, because they're so excited. And that's because for me personally, I love the loyalty rewards program. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's such good value. And when I'm talking about it, I'm excited and people can pick that up off of me. Now, I'll be honest, when I first started on the loyalty rewards program, it was kind of like speaking Chinese and I had no idea what I was doing. And it did take a bit of practice. So my suggestion to you is watch every single video you can find about the loyalty rewards program. And if you have to sit there and write out how the loyalty rewards program works and memorize it. Literally sit there and memorize it so you know it and you understand it and you can be able to relate it at the drop of a hat. You also really want to be focusing with the loyalty rewards program on how it's going to benefit them. So you want to be focusing on the fact that they earn free points, they can get commissions, they can get free products and all those good benefits. Otherwise, they're going to be like, so I have to spend money every single month. And you want to be, another way that I like to say is you can activate your loyalty rewards program. And that way you think, ooh, activate, I'm getting something extra. It's like an added bonus. Rather than just saying, oh, you can start or you can, begin or something like that. I prefer to say activate. So if you want to see how I explain the loyalty rewards program, if you jump on my Facebook page, which is Lavender and Friends, just find any of my unboxing videos. And at the start of my unboxing videos, I always go through explaining how the loyalty rewards program works. And you'll see, if you scroll really far back, you'll see the first couple and you'll see I'm a bit clunky and a bit not very confident in it. But as I've done it more and more and over and I've practiced it, I now feel much more confident in explaining how the loyalty rewards program works. And that's what you have to do. You just have to practice it till you can feel really, really confident with it. So what you can do is come up with your loyalty rewards wish list. So you can actually maybe come up with products that you've recommended to them that you think are going to be beneficial. And look, start small. Listen to what they're saying. If they're sort of looking really scared about the idea of even doing a 50-point order, you could say, well, why don't we do a bath bar 1 month, a lip balm the next, and a bottle of lemongrass. Keep it super simple. If they look like they're super excited, then go, yeah, let's try this and this and this, Another tip as well, which one of my beautiful team members did, is she has actually pre-made up loyalty reward program suggested orders. So for example, if someone says their issue is sleep, she's actually already got 3 months of LRP orders that are specifically all sleep related oils. Or if they say anxiety, she's got anxiety ones. And so she's actually just learned which ones add up to which values. And so at the drop of the hat, she can go, oh, so sleep's an issue. All right, well, let's do this, your first month, this, your second month. And so that's another way you can do this as well. You then can have this customize your wellness plan, which is a good way for them to kind of look through and figure out what additional needs they might have, so they can go through and tick or circle things they're interested in. And it continues to the second page quite beautifully. And then we go to our third page where we go to our final pages, which is where it goes through the loyalty rewards program and helps them to understand how that works. Now, I'll be very honest, I find the language can be a bit clunky and confusing. That's why I prefer to just have it in my own terms and be able to explain it quite clearly and succinctly to them. I also make sure that they understand that they can, activate it and cancel at any time. They can buy as little or as much as they want. There's no ongoing obligation that they have to spend a certain amount every time. Another thing I do at this point is I'll actually pull out my phone or my computer and I'll actually physically log into their account and show them how to do it. So I'll log in, show them around, I'll set up a loyalty rewards program with some of the items we've chatted about, and then I'll say, would you like me to save this so it's good to process, or what would you like to do? And most of the time they'll say, yeah, that's fine, just leave it in there. Sometimes they might say, oh, look, I'll fix it up when I get home. And I go, that's cool, no dramas, at least you know what to do now. And that way it takes that pressure off them, shows them how it works, and it helps them to understand what they're doing. So again, here's how we go through that they get the certain percentages back, how to use the points. And then we finish with some specific essential oil tips. So that's, things about safety tips, all those important information. At this point, I'll also pull out, I ask them to bring their oils with them. So at this point, I'll actually grab an empty roller and sit there and give them a list. I have about 2 pages of recipes of my favorite recipes. I'll give it to them, get them to pick out what they want to make, and we'll actually blend something up together. And then that way it helps them to feel confident in using their oils. And it just is, just gets a bit hands-on for them. So the final page is where you have your support listed as to what extra support you can offer. And this is a really critical page. And we might think, oh, it's the back page, it's just a bit of links, whatever. But the really critical part is down the bottom where it says share or build. It is very important that at every wellness consult, you have that conversation with them about what they want to get out of their oil journey. And it can be super simple. You can just say, in doTERRA, we have 3 options. You can use the products and love them. You can share them with your friends and family. So you could host a class, or even just, if you have any friends you think that might be interested, you can send them along to one of my public classes. Or you can build, which is to supplement or replace your income. Where do you see your oil journey taking you? And just let them talk. And most of the time they'll probably just be like, yeah, I just want to use the products. And you go, that's awesome. Would you like me to touch in base with you in maybe a couple of months and just see how you're going and see if you'd be interested in getting a few friends together? And most of the time they'll go, yep, that's fine. Get your diary out, make a note to touch base with them, and in 3 or 4 months' time, just send them a message and see how they're going. Now, the reason this is really important is oftentimes in our head, we might meet someone and we might think, oh my gosh, this person would be the most amazing builder ever. She's totally going to host a class. She's totally going to build. And you might think, I'm going to frontline her because she's going to be so fabulous. We only have 14 days to make those placement moves, so we don't have a lot of time, which is why when you're doing your wellness consult, you want it to be within the first, usually I like to do it a week after they've enrolled, so that way they've just got their oils and they're all excited. And so that means when we do this wellness consult and we have this conversation, it gives us a better understanding as to where we want to be placing them. Because we might think, oh my gosh, this person will be an amazing builder. I should keep her on my front line. She's going to be fabulous. And then you're doing your wellness consult and she informs you that she's just found out she's pregnant with triplets and her husband's been transferred to South America. And so she's moving to South America in a month. Probably not a good idea if you've just frontlined that person. Or you could have the polar opposite. I've had times where I've had someone who I thought wasn't interested at all. I was actually even surprised they bought the oils in the first place. And then they get to their wellness consult and they're like, oh, I've got 4 friends who want to have a class. Does the 25th work? And you're like, yeah, okay, cool. And then you think, wow, maybe I should move them up a bit or put them somewhere different. And that's why it's really important that we're not assuming anything. Another tip I'll give you with the wellness consults is if you value them, love them, think they're the greatest thing ever, really talk them up in your class, people are going to want to do them. They're going to think, wow, this is really cool. If you kind of aren't that excited about them and you don't really talk about them much, and then at the end you're like, oh, well, we're going to do a wellness consult and I'll just send you a message and we can book in a time, I can guarantee you will not get a time booked in. One of the things that I do is when I take an enrollment and I take the form, I actually don't accept the form until we have physically booked in a date and I write it on the top of the form. So I'll say, all right, so the next steps are, now that I've got your form, I'll be processing this, you'll be getting your welcome plaque. When do you want to sit down and do our wellness consult? It's usually best to do it in about a week's time. Let's get our diaries. And that way they can see that it's important and that you're going to be valuing them and valuing their time, and then they're going to be more likely to show up. You may still get a few cancellations and rebookings, but generally you'll have a much better success rate. If it's maybe an enrollment via online, or you haven't met them face to face in a class, it can be a bit more tricky. But really do persist and get that wellness consult booked, because it's such a critical way for you to be reaching out to them and to be making sure that they're able to get the most out of their account. So that's all that we are going to be talking about today. That's the end of it. That's a little rundown of wellness consults, how to use them, how to use the new Live Guide, and just a couple of tips in there. I hope you guys have found this video really useful. If you have, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, or if you want to visit my Facebook page, and you can like and follow that for more information. And that's Lavender and Friends on Facebook. Or alternatively, you can visit my website, which is www.lavenderandfriends.com. Cheers!